France is home to more than 68 million people and stretches across more than 550,000 square kilometers, the largest country in Western Europe. Here are the top 10 unusual facts about France. Not just trivia, but details that help you travel smarter, deeper, and with more wonder. Fact 1. France can feel like a collection of different worlds, and the wild part is how quickly you can jump between them. With high-speed trains, you can wake up in Paris with its limestone facades and cafe chatter, then glide toward another region so fast it feels like teleportation. In one day, it's realistic to taste the capital's energy, experience a completely different city by lunchtime, and end your evening near the coast where the air turns salty and the tempo slows down. This isn't just convenience, it reshapes how you travel. Instead of choosing one base and doing tiny circles, you can build a journey like chapters. A city chapter, a food chapter, a sea chapter, all in one day if you want. And that speed creates a beautiful contrast. France moves fast on rails, yet it lives slowly at the table. Fact 2. Here is something that surprises people. More than half of Paris visitors never actually go up the Eiffel Tower. They see it, photograph it, circle it, but they don't climb. Part of it is lines, part of it is timing, but part of it is something else. Paris is at its best when you stop chasing the obvious. The city's most unforgettable Paris moments are often found in the terraces, in between who places, the streets that lead nowhere famous, the quiet hilltop viewpoints, the sudden courtyard that opens like a secret, the small bakery where the staff doesn't perform friendliness but still hands you something perfect. Paris rewards curiosity. If you follow a checklist, it can feel crowded and expensive. If you wander with patience, it starts to feel like a living novel. The kind where the best scenes aren't the ones on the cover. Fact 3. The Louvre is not just a museum, it's a planet. It's the most visited museum in the world, and that creates a fascinating travel paradox. The more famous it is, the more people feel pressured to win it. They rush in like it's a competition, sprint toward a handful of masterpieces, and leave exhausted. But the Louvre isn't meant to be conquered. It's meant to be tasted. The secret is to treat it like a city inside a city. Choose one wing, one theme, one mood. Give yourself permission to miss things. When you do that, the museum becomes magical. Not a crowd, but a time machine. And here is the tourist smart detail. Sometimes the best Louvre experience is not the most famous painting, but the quiet room you stumble into when you stop trying to follow everyone else. Fact 4. 40 liters per person per year sounds dramatic, but in France it doesn't translate into wild partying. It translates into culture. Wine is treated less like alcohol and more like a companion to food and conversation. The deeper truth for travelers is this. In France, wine is geography. It changes by region the way accents change. One area gives you something crisp and light, another gives you something dark and powerful. And locals often drink what belongs here, the way they eat what belongs here. That is why you can have an ordinary lunch in a small town and be offered a regional wine that feels far more special than anything with a fancy label. To travel through France is to travel through different wines, not as luxury items, but as regional voices. Fact 5. Bordeaux is famous worldwide, but what makes it fascinating for tourists is that it's not just vineyards and prestige. It's a living city with riverlight, broad stone streets, and a daily rhythm that feels less frantic than Paris. And here is the tourist surprise. Wine culture in Bordeaux can feel more accessible than in places that sell wine experiences. Tastings can be straightforward, relaxed, and sometimes even cheaper than you'd expect, because for locals, wine is normal life, not a performance. Bordeaux also works as a travel base. You can combine city evenings with day trips to wine villages, then return for dinner that feels elegant without trying too hard. If Paris is a stage, Bordeaux is a conversation. Fact 6. France has over 1,500 kinds of cheese, but the number isn't the real story. The real story is how personal cheese is. In France, cheese often feels like a regional flag you can eat. People defend their cheese the way they defend their hometown. Some cheeses are creamy and gentle, others are sharp and stubborn, and a few smell like they're daring you to understand them. For tourists, cheese becomes a travel tool. The moment you start trying what's local, you begin to feel the region. And there's a small cultural trick. Cheese is often eaten after the main meal, not before it. It is not an appetizer. It is a bridge between the savory world and the sweet ending. When you follow local order, you don't just eat French food, you step into French logic. Fact 7. France eats billions of baguettes each year, and you can feel it in the streets. In the morning, you'll see people carrying long paper-wrapped bread like a national accessory. But the baguette isn't just bread, it's freshness culture. The difference between a great baguette and a sad one is often hours, not days. That's why bakeries are everywhere, and why locals buy bread constantly. For tourists, this is one of the simplest ways to travel like a local. Skip the supermarket loaf and walk into a boulangerie. Listen to the small language of the place, the quiet routine, the quick exchange, the way the bread is chosen like a daily decision. One baguette can tell you more about France than 100 postcards, because it shows you what the country values: craft, habit, and the pleasure of something simple done properly. Fact 8. Many travelers build France around Paris and the Riviera, and they miss Lyon, which is almost funny, because Lyon is often called the gastronomic heart of the country. This is where you feel how French food can be both humble and intense, warm, rich, and unapologetically real. Lyon is known for its traditional small eateries, places where the menu feels regional, the portions feel honest, and the experience feels less curated for tourists. The city also sits like a gateway between north and south, which means its food culture is a meeting point of influences. For a tourist, Lyon can be a revelation. You stop thinking of French cuisine as fine dining, and you start seeing it as everyday excellence. Fact 9. France's history is full of grand revolutions and dramatic monarchs, so it is almost poetic that one of its strangest royal facts is also one of its shortest. King Louis XIX ruled for roughly 20 minutes before abdicating. Imagine the weight of a crown that lasts less than a coffee break. This tiny reign is a perfect symbol of French history: intense, theatrical, and unpredictable. For travelers, it's a reminder that France isn't only castles and elegant palaces, it's also sudden turns, absurd moments, and the kind of historical drama that makes the present feel sharper. When you walk through French cities, you were not just seeing monuments, you were walking through layers of decisions that changed everything in an afternoon. Fact 10. If you take anything from these facts, let it be this: the deepest France is rarely the most photographed France. Paris isn't just landmarks, it's wandering. Wine isn't just bottles, it's regions. Cheese isn't just variety, it's identity. Bread isn't just food, it's routine. And trains don't just move people, they connect completely different cultures inside one country. France becomes unforgettable when you stop collecting places and start noticing habits. Because the real attraction isn't one building or one dish. It is a way of living that turns the ordinary into something almost sacred. If this journey inspired you, watch more travel stories from around the world.